Welcome back, race fans. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Buckle Up, an ultra running conversation. Mandy, you got the natural blowout going on the hair today. If you're watching, what is going on? How did you get that? How long did you use the hair dryer for to get
I
that
used
look?
it for about 45 minutes while I was out on my run in these 75 mile per hour wind gusts. Yeah, but I had to take a break from that to come in here to quickly record. But I'm hoping we can do this really fast, Brian, because I got to get back out to the burrito segment. So
Burrito
talk.
League. Oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed with Burrito League on my Instagram feed. But you have a Burrito League seg, shall we say, in downtown Windsor, and people are running the .2 mile segment of Strava for kudos, I believe, and actually for numbers. And there's prizes. If you're not familiar with Burrito League, go check it out. It is everywhere. Just type in Burrito League. I'm sure you'll find it. But Mandy, tell us a little bit more about your Burrito League.
Yeah, so my burrito league is it starts at Cancun Mexican restaurant because burritos ends at Peculiar Brewing Company, and it is going hot, Brian. We've got gift cards, Hoka sponsoring, so top male and female at the end of the month that do the most segments. Segs is the new word. They get free shoes. We're giving away free year race entries. I'm really excited about it. It's been a lot of fun for all the businesses downtown to like text me and call me. Like Daniel from the Hearth restaurant is like, Mandy, why are runners running back and forth in front of my restaurant? And how can I get involved? So it's just a cool community development. And we talk about that a little bit in this episode, just choosing your fun, choosing your silly. Jamil has definitely done a good job of creating a silly opportunity for us to all pay attention to something else in the running world this month. So are you doing any segments, Brian? What does it look like over there on the Western Slope?
I don't think so. I'm definitely not doing the segments. I'm still tallying the old segments that have been out there for a while and trying to become segment leaders of sorts on different things around town. But there are no burrito leagues, as far as I know of, in the valley. I did talk about it with the run shop owner in Carbondale, but it kind of like it was one of those conversations that just kind of blew up and went left and right. He was like, "Oh, let's do it around, the back parking lot, and let's make it a loop." And I'm like, "Well, there's parameters and there's rules to this." And he's like, "Let's do a 2 mile loop instead." And I was like, "Well, there's parameters to this, and there's." And he's like, "Let's do it up and down the mountain then. Let's do it like at 6 o'clock every night." And I was like, "Well, there's again parameters to this." So he wasn't really getting the point, and maybe I didn't clarify the point well
Yeah.
myself. But either way, yeah, I'm not doing the segments. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. 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 I'm doing a little bit of them. I have a few friends and a few of our runners that are really competitive, and man, it is showing. Like Sarah Robertson she's out there right now. And you guys, the wind is so bad right now. Like they're going to most likely close down school because power's going to go out again this afternoon because our wind is so bad. She's still out there doing them because she's like fighting back and forth with Eliza. And anyways, it's fun. I probably should be focusing on permits and other things, but here we are. How are you today?
I'm good. It is late January, so actually, just to back up a second, if you, when you get this episode, it's going to be later in January. It's going to be 7 days, 8 days, 6 days from today, so it's probably like the 22nd. So there are only a few days left of Burrito League, so maybe you won't be eligible for the overall prize as you'll be behind the power curve if you're just hearing about this. But Mandy's particular group is doing daily giveaways. So get out there, run a couple segments, and maybe you'll be able to sneak in and grab one of those daily giveaways, right?
That's true. Yeah, yesterday was a free custom coffee. We have a coffee shop that prints like a picture. So it's the Run Windsor logo on the coffee.
And how did you give that away?
How did I give it away? Whoever ran the most segments yesterday went to Chris
Oh, in the
Peter
single day. Okay,
in
single
a
day.
single
Okay.
day. Yep. So I'm tracking this is what I'm spending my time doing, Brian. I'm tracking where we're at midnight until 11:59 p.m. And whoever did the most that day gets the prize. So Chris ran it 44 times yesterday, like 19 miles, I think. Close behind him, someone ran 18 miles. The other day, we had several people run half marathon to 20 miles.
So when you were in elementary school and like the teacher was like, "Hey, like when you dream of a professional career, like where do you see yourself?" Was it counting Burrito League segments by any chance?
No, no, it's so ridiculous. And, like promoting this just feels so funny. Like doing the live stream. I mean, even when you're watching the live stream, like let's just back it up a little bit. Take yourself out of this running world. Pretend like you don't know who Aravipa is and Jamil Curry. Do we really open YouTube and we just watch people run back and forth on a city street. I mean, it's not even a race. There's
It actually, this particular event and the Aravipa live stream camera really reminds me more of like a weather cam. Like we're like
yes.
it's just sitting up like way up high on a post, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to hit Tempe. I'll be there in a few hours. Like, what does it look like downtown Tempe? And I could pull up the live stream, and I'm like, oh, it's sunny and clear. Okay, cool. Hey, there's a lot of people running down that sidewalk back and forth in loops, man. There's a lot of runners in Tempe. You know,
There
I mean, that's what
are.
it looks
There
like.
are.
But it looks like a weather cam to me. Like that's exactly. It's not like the other races where they have a better live feed, which I totally understand because you can't have a live feed for a month of January.
No, and honestly, like there's not that much to report. Like,
Yeah.
all right, Chris is going a little faster on this one. Oh, just took the lead. But now
Mm-hmm.
Sally just caught up because it's only 0.2 miles. Like the back and forth is so fun. Never envisioned myself doing it, but it is funny. I had a friend DM me on Facebook and he's like, "Are you a race director? Or are you like the mayor of Windsor? Because all you're doing is promoting other businesses and like getting people to your downtown." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess I'm the mayor race director. I guess
Interim mayor.
interim mayor."
Hey, have you done a run streak? So besides Burrito League, have you done a run streak, Mandy?
Streak.
No,
I should. I
I
should think
did.
about that.
No, you shouldn't. But I
No.
did try a couple years ago. I went like 4 months, 120 days, 135 days. I went into April, and for me, it wasn't that healthy. Like I wasn't able to stay healthy. I wasn't doing
Mm,
the other things to stay healthy. I was just running every day and just muscling through these miles. Of course, it's a little bit harder here in Western Colorado in January and February, but as the weather started to open up, it got easier weather-wise, but it was still challenging, and I was just getting banged up. But
mm.
our guest today is on way more than 120 days. He's on 1,300 plus days of running consecutively, and that's just amazing, right? I mean, I don't even know how many years that is. It's quite a few years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. His streak. So when you were doing your streak, Brian, was there a minimum you had to run every day? What were your rules that you set for yourself?
I think I did 2 miles, and then one day I considered making it 1 mile because I didn't want to run the two, but I wound up doing the two anyway.
Okay. Yeah. So his streak started with 1 mile and then it grew from there. So now he's up to 17 miles per day. Talks about how he gets that done. Because I know a lot of people are like, my question was, how do you do that every single day? You know, explain how you fit that into life. The interesting part that I got out of it is like he never really proclaims his love for running. So I think he's
That's
getting
right.
like
That's right.
literally everything else out of this sport. He's probably our first guest that wasn't like, and then I fell in love with running. He never says that. He falls in love with all of the other things. And I think that's what I love the most about that conversation we had.
Yeah, check out the episode. He's got some huge plans for 2027. I won't even spoil him here, but Chris Avery is our guest today. ChrisRunsAmerica.com. Maybe you could read into that a little bit. But thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate your time and look forward to catching up soon. Hey, Chris, I was quick in hitting the record button. Thanks for coming on the show this morning. We appreciate you taking some time out of your day to talk to us about, anything and everything. How
I'm
are you doing
excited to
today?
be here. I'm wonderful. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Chris, you're coming to us from,
Oh, I'm from Yeah, I'm originally live in the United States. I'm from Orem, originally from Phoenix, Arizona, but we live in Orem now with my family.
How long have you been in Orem from Phoenix?
Geez, so almost 8 years. So I met a
Okay.
lady in Phoenix, and she moved up here for school, and I tell everybody I moved up here for love. Luckily, I put a ring on it, and it worked, and we have 2 kids, and we love it.
And how old are the little ones?
One is 3, almost 4, and then we have another one that'll be turning a year in a little less than a month.
Whoo, you are in the thick of it. I sort of remember those days, but man, once they can feed themselves and wipe their own butts, it's like a clean sail to college, right, Mandy?
Yeah, well, I've
game
never
changer.
heard that, but I'll take that. Somebody said the exact same thing yesterday. To me, like, oh, you're doing the run thing, and you're doing this. You're really in the thick of it. I said, yeah, I like to do it all at once. Let's just get it done.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to raise the kids like that. Like, let them know that it's not all about them.
Yeah.
Not balance isn't real, I don't think, but you can do these things through all phases of life. It just looks a little differently. Yeah, do you push a jogging stroller? Do you have a lot of experience with
Hmm.
stroller miles?
I wish I could say I did, but I don't. I do. I mean, like I push it occasionally, but I definitely when I'm out running and I see somebody else because I run on trail stuff and I see somebody else with a stroller, and I go like, I should be more like that person. I should take my kids more. I do enjoy it, but we don't do it enough. I should do it definitely more. But it really isn't meant to do it with kids. I mean, like since because I've been running for 4 years straight, my little girl has like I started right before she was born. I did it started in January of 2022, and she was born in April. So I've been running the whole time, training running the perimeter the whole time since she's been born. So it's really cool. Like we go back and look at videos, and when she was big enough, she'd crawl up on the couch and look at the window, and we'd play through the window, and then she'd see me run away from the house. There's just amazing memories, like not even just about not making it all about them, but just showing them. There's so many parents that say you can do whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, and I want to be the example of that, not the statement of that, because I think so many parents are the statement, and so many people use their kids as reasons not to do these things. With me and my wife, we love adventure, we love exploration, we love challenging things. So we chose something very challenging, but I want to show my kids like you guys can do it too. When we say you can do whatever you want, those aren't words. Those are actually actionable statements that you need to, do what you want in your life.
Yeah, I know that's a pretty big part of your message. People are watching, and those people might be little people. I think I've had the same sentiment in the past. I think I've probably told this story before, but my daughters only knew ultra running for so long that when we were going to the Boston Marathon in 2019 in the airport, my daughter asked me, like just a random, she just kind of turned to me and she said, "Are you going to take all night to run the Boston Marathon?" Because all she knew was that it was going to take me 24 hours to run whatever I normally run. Like, so I get it. So like we have those beady little eyes staring at us,
Yeah,
and they're
absolutely.
absorbing all of it, right? So yeah, so
Absolutely.
I totally get that. And that is a huge part of your message, correct?
It is my message, right? Like this is all about purpose. This is not like I'll be honest if you want to know the running thing, like I hate running. I chose this cuz I hated running. I chose this cuz I ran 5 times in 20 years. I hated running so much. I proved to myself I hated it. I'd rather sit on the couch and have somebody carry me around than run somewhere. But that's the right. But the purpose behind it is the point. And part of it is like every man, like you're watching yourself, like God's watching you, and everybody around you is watching you. You just don't realize it. And it really is a statement of whatever you do in the darkness shows up in the light. Because every night, like or morning when if it's dark and I run, like no hardly anybody or nobody I'll say is out there, right? When I was out there last night at 11 p.m., nobody was out there. It's freezing, it's 24 degrees, and yet we're out there because people are watching. And most importantly, you're watching you. And that's how you change who you are is you do the things when nobody's watching. And you guys know that better than I do.
We typically kind of do like this history background of like how you got into sport, how you got into the space of running. I think I know. I did a little homework. I did a lot of homework, quite honestly, in the last 35 minutes on the computer this morning. But I did a lot of homework, and I feel like maybe your wife was running a marathon, and she was with a training partner, and they were going for it, and within the last few weeks or the last minute of the race itself, the training partner fell out of the availability to be there for your wife, and you stepped up, sight unseen, running unknown, and you ran the marathon. Am I correct in this?
That's spot on. Yeah, I mean, it shows you pick good teammates. Because the first marathon she ran, I was not a good teammate. We were dating. She's like, "You want to run?" I was like, "Absolutely never. Never will I ever run. Don't ever,
Yeah.
don't." So first of all, this is a no forever. Don't ask me to
Mhm.
run a marathon again. And so she's like, "But it's amazing. You get to run. You get to eat oranges." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, I can eat oranges at home and not pay somebody to run. I can run for free." Anyway, so then her last, we got married. She was going to run her last marathon. And that's where those training partners just called her like a month before and said, "Hey, I am just not training enough. So I'm not going to run." And she just turned to me and she was like, "Hey, they just dropped out. I think I'm going to drop out because I want to be able to like run with somebody." And I said, hey, if this is really your last one, I'm going to be a good teammate this time, and I'm going to step up. I'm going to change the way I view this thing, and I'm going to change it and just think like, man, let's see if I can really do this. So we got new shoes. We walked around in them for a month, so they got nice and broken in. And then we went out on way too early of a morning, and they bus you to the top of the hill, and they say, enjoy the run. And so went 26.2, and about halfway through, like the calves are because I don't know how to pace, no gels and electrolytes and all that stuff. I'm just doing what I'm doing. So halfway through, I'm starving to death. Of course, my legs are cramping, my calf is cramping, and then my shins are cramping. It's just moving all over, and it was the most amazing experience I've ever had. Like hands
What
down.
race was it? What marathon was
It
it?
was it was a Mount Nebo one. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one, but Mount Nebo is just a beautiful mountain that we have up here, and so there's just a lot of ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, she sold me on, hey, don't worry, it's you. They take you to the top of the hill, and then you go down. And I'm like, awesome. First of all, you don't know like down is horrible on your legs. Second of all, there was plenty of ups. I don't know who was telling me the course, but it was clearly a lot of ups. But it was just amazing. And fishing that day, just something was unleashed because of the pain, because of the body breaking down, the mental, physical side of it, then I feel like spiritually just something was unleashed. And you realize like in your soul as a human being, we are living at about, 40, 50% of our real capabilities. And when I finished that, I went like, man, this running thing is not about running at all. Like I still don't love running, even though I've been doing it for 4 years straight. But it's a game changer in how you view yourself, in how you process your emotions, how you view the world, and really how you see yourself when you look in the mirror. And if you get nothing else from running and you're listening to this and you're like, I've never ran a day, start today, 1 mile, because all it matters is you started. And don't overcomplicate it with all the perfect shoes, gels, and socks and undies and everything else. Like, get out there however you get out there. Just show up. But that's a little bit of how the running journey started, yeah. So you did a
That's
lot of good
awesome.
research, Brian. Great job.
So what did it look like after that? So you finished the marathon, you're in pain but inspired that this is going to be a part of your life. What's the trajectory next?
Yeah, great question, Mandy. So, like anybody that's very knowledgeable and has no ego involved at all, they said, hey, I ran a marathon with no training. So clearly I've got the marathon thing figured out, right? So the next step, the logical next step is enjoy the pain for a few days and then start planning your next thing. So I decided, hey, I would start trying to run more consistently. And that went horribly. So in 2018 is when we ran 2019 is when we ran the marathon. Then COVID hits, and of course, I'm like, I should do something bigger than running a marathon with no training. So I was like, let's run a 50 miler. And so that was our next venture. Was we were going to run a race, then COVID happened, so we were training for a 50-mile. And this one I actually trained, so I got a little bit smart. I actually took some gels, learned how bad my feet hurt when I run a lot, things like that. And so we trained for the 50 miler, and then luckily my wife is just incredible, and every almost any long distance run she was there for supplements, massages, stretching, the whole thing. And then when we ran the 50 miler, there's a beautiful trail called the Murdoch Trail by our house, and it runs for 20 plus straight miles. So we ran that for 26.2, looked around and went back into this beautiful canyon, and took way too long, and whined and cried way too much, but we got it done. So the 50 miler was the next like evolution of it.
And gosh, I think you're on a run streak, right? Currently, I want to say it's something like 300 days, or at least one of the more recent posts on your Instagram page said 300 days, so it's probably a few more than that currently.
Yeah, so we're currently almost at 1,500. So I
Oh,
don't know.
that's
So
quite a bit more than 300.
yeah, that was a
That was
long
that
time
was
ago.
that must have been an older post.
So yeah, so in January of 2022, I woke up, and it's Mandy. It still goes back to even how this is still like the beginning of the running journey, right? Like even after the 50, I was like, okay, I'm gonna run consistently. And then on January of 2022, I woke up. I'm like, let me look back, and I'd never run a week straight. Like never in my life have I run 7 days in a row. So I was like, okay, we want to do bigger, So we're like, there's somebody at that time was running across the United States, and I was running like 75 miles a day. He's from Britain. I can't remember his name. You guys probably know who he is. But anyways, he was running across America. I was like, that sounds pretty cool. Like that could be really interesting. And so, we're starting that and we're starting the process and really starting to think through this. And so I go out on the 9th and I run my first mile. I'm like, let me see if I can just do a mile every day. I want to make it so small. And this is for anybody that's starting. Like, I want to make it so small and so stupidly small that if I choose not to do a mile in a day, I just laugh at myself because it's so simple and so easy to go out for walk/run, whatever you need to do to get it done, that anybody can get a mile done. And so I set it really small, and we did that for 90 days. And then that turned into 2 miles for 90 days. And then a run across America turned into, well, hold on, there's 200 to 500 people that have done that. That's not unique enough. Then we're like, well, let's run there and back. And then we said, let's do a V through the United States. Let's do a W because 3,300 miles or 6,600 isn't enough miles. And so we finally settled about 2.5 years into the trade, said, hey, why don't we run the perimeter? We know we want to do 30 miles a day. Like we sat between, do we do 50 miles a day, 30 miles a day? And we decided we're not just after a Guinness Book of World Records. We're not just after doing things for the first time that nobody's done. We're after a lifestyle and showing people like you can do something really big that most people, first of all, start really small, but you can do something really big if you start really small. And then second of all, doing something like with your family that's a lifestyle that you can take your family with you, not leave behind. I mean, like I coach men, and one of the guys was like, so what do you do with your family for the whole year that you're going to run around America? I was like, oh, I just divorced my wife and I have my kids adopted. I said, I take them with me, man. What do you think I'm doing? And we're going to go in an RV. And so it'll just be an amazing experience. But we decided we'll run the perimeter of America. So we'll go 50K a day. So a little over 30 miles a day for 365 days straight. So every day of the year for 2027, we'll run 30 plus miles a day. That will really be, and we're calling it Chris Runs America, but that's really the whole purpose, is to show people you can do something so much bigger if you start small. If you create a lifestyle out of it and bring your family with you, you can create amazing life experience that you most likely will be we'll probably be the only people that have ever run and see America 30 miles at a time with their whole family. And we look forward to that.
Chris, you mentioned a couple times like we, and I understand that's your family. That's the two kids, the two little kids, and your wife. Is your wife running as well with you? Is she like in the trenches with you, running the 30 miles a day? Is she on the run streak with you? Where does she fall into this? Because she was the marathoner, and you were just the guy that showed up to help her out. So, like, where is she at in this process?
We flop roles. Yeah, we flop.
Okay.
She, like she'll run occasionally here and there, and she's working like since the baby and stuff. She's working on getting more back to it because even nowadays when we go talk to people, she's like, now everybody knows you're the runner, but nobody knows like I ever even ran. And I'm like, that's really true, unless if we go to old friends. So she's starting to pick it back up. She won't. She's really just going to manage the kids.
Sure.
So we, as in the proverbial we, me, everybody that's watching, God, and then my kids. But really the we unit is me, God, and my family.
No, that's great.
And of course, I think you guys know this is going to be a big feat. So we'll have some teammates as well that will be there. And there'll be people that come out and run parts of it. I don't have any plan of anybody else running every day, 50K a day besides me, though,
Cool. Well, kudos to your wife for tagging along. And I'm sure there's a lot of planning going into that, but it'll be fun afterwards. Just the experience for the kids. I'm sure there'll be a lot of visits to parks and museums, and what a cool way. I think it's, like you said, it's so doable. You just have to think outside the box of how this can work and how you can implement it into a lifestyle. And Brian and I have a lot of experience with this. Our kids have been drugged to many races. Brian's kids a lot more than mine. He's been in the sport a lot longer than I have, but it is pretty cool. So kudos to you for spreading that message of getting them involved and keeping them with you out there on the trail. That's going to be quite the adventure. I mean, that is life-changing. They will never forget that.
Yeah. And I mean, I look forward to my little girl turning 4, so she'll be 5. So I'm looking for, do you guys know who James Iron Cowboy is?
Mm-hmm.
So he made that first documentary called 50-50-50, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in that, like, his little girl runs with him, or it's his little boy or little girl. I think it's his little girl, though. She finishes like the 5K. And not that my little girl's going to finish at 5K, but I look forward to hopefully almost every day having her just run with me whatever distance she runs with me. And like, again, that gives me goosebumps because this is all about an experience. It's not how quickly I finish. I'll be honest, it's not even if I finish. It's like who we become from the experience
Mm-hmm.
and what we get from it and what we can give to others from it. With that, like, I'm just excited to be there. I'm excited to run around the mountain like in Forrest Gump, where he runs and he sees the lake and the mountains reflecting off the lake. And I was telling my brother I said, that's going to be us. Like, we're not going to have to watch the movie to see that. We're going to run and live that. And it's just incredible, man. It's just an amazing experience that we've been blessed to be part of and accept. And, like I always say, it's like a mission. It's like Mission Impossible, where they play the little tape. And then the last question they say is like, this is your mission if you choose to accept it. And the question is, most of us have a mission burning inside us, from running, from whatever, from parenting, whatever it is. But will we choose to accept it? And then when we accept it, we get the mission. And then till the next mission. But will we choose to accept it is the question.
Yeah, I love the idea of it's all about the journey as opposed to the finish lines or the accolades for it. It's an experience nonetheless. And gosh, I think we're, as a society, like generally right now, I mean, we're in like this digital age, but I think we're all longing for some sort of journey that challenges us physically or mentally, but maybe not on like the social front, right? Like we're all just trying to navigate the world in this day and age, and it's usually different than it was just 10 years ago and 20 years ago, right? And so, yeah, the message speaks loud and clear to like the ultra running population of like, doing hard things and challenge yourself and stepping outside of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. It's the reason I love the community. And just, to speak to that, there's been so many days, just because we even brought up how many days I've been running, like on day 1,000, and I put this on social media, I said, here's all the people, when you run 1,000 days in a row, here's all the people that show up for you, right? And I'm finishing my day then. And I film around and there's nobody. Right? Because it's not about people showing up for you. It's about you showing up for yourself. And once you do that, and that's the reason I love the ultra running community, because they are about doing everything. They are about the journey. Because they're not about it doesn't always have to be about the pace. It can just be about the race. And that's the beautiful part, is this is a race called life. And might as well get as many experiences of it as possible. And so it is there are not very many medals at the end of this, but that's okay. What there are is impact. And if we can leave this world impact in a better way, then we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I love that. And thinking outside the box too, I think, is where ultra runners seem to really shine these days, with these challenges and, like you said, reframing the run across America, like doing it your own way. You don't have to follow a roadmap. Just like this segment challenge that's going on right now that I'm all bought in on, like to the max. Brian's annoyed with it because he's like, just go on your training run. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to run up and down Main Street, but it's so
She is
fun.
full of Kool-Aid right now. Mandy is full of the Kool-Aid.
And it's not because it's like everyone's doing it. I think it's because it's fun, and we get to choose this life. Like, you can get up and you can do the same thing that everyone else is doing, or you can look silly and put yourself out there to the world and choose something really serious and hard and a huge undertaking like you're doing, or you can run up and down a 2-city block in your town and have the whole town looking at you like, what are you doing? But I think that's just the beautiful place that this space gives us of running and ultra running specifically, of just like you doing you and having that bravery to just step outside the box and, I don't know, risk it all, risk looking silly, but it's the journey. It's just that daily challenge. Who cares really what the outcome is? But if we're in that space every single day doing these things we want to do that make us feel good, like you said, it will have an impact. It will have a ripple effect, not just for you, but for people that are watching.
Well, Manny, so well said. I mean, and it does take a little bit of courage. I love that you said, when you're doing something unique, you got to think out, and you brought up a couple of times of thinking outside the box. And I think there is something that's so amazing about thinking outside the box and like putting on your own unique shoes. You don't have to wear the same shoes everybody else does. You don't have to do the same thing as everybody else does. But yeah, like the profoundness of being able to make your own. Like, most of us are going to do things that other people tell us what to do. We go to jobs that people tell us what to do. And I even said to my brother again last night when we were talking, I said, one of the most amazing things, because we created the Run Around America. Nobody told us to do that. We didn't read somebody else's story and say, oh, we got to do that. So we do create all the rules. I literally said that to my brother. I said, that's one of my favorite parts, is we create the rules. So we can make it whatever we want. And there are going to be plenty of people that naysay and say, oh, you shouldn't do it that way, you do it this way. And I say, God bless them. Like, go do it that way. right? And that's the amazing part is really we're all here to be like unique and different and find our own way. It's not just this cookie cutter, we all have to follow the same path. And I think again, going back to ultra running and just these I'm sure when you guys go out for runs, there are days where you don't know if you're going right or left, but you just go. And some of those days are the best days. You don't know where if you turn right or left. You don't know if you're going to get lost. You don't know if you're going to go a couple extra miles, but you just go and you just enjoy it and you're just there. And it's a really amazing experience. I will highly suggest. It doesn't have to be a run around America. It doesn't have to be a year long.
Mhm.
It'll be. I'll tell you things where I go like, maybe this wasn't the smartest choice, but choose something and then just go do it to the max. Like give it your best.
Yeah, choose something that challenges you. I totally get that. You mentioned, we talked about the run streak. It started with a mile and went to 2, but I think you've been like upping that number since then. So where you at now currently? I think it's something like 17 miles a day you've averaged over the whole course of the duration of 1,300 days. Or am I correct in that?
Yeah. So right now we're right. So I just want to say we haven't ran 17 miles on average. What we're doing right now is we've gone up every 90 days. We've gone up a mile. So we're running 17 miles a day. We'll get into the low 20s this year before we head out to doing the 30 miles a day. But yeah, so that's really how it all breaks down. Is
I see. It's not an average; it's the current number.
Correct. Yeah. Yep. So we are 18 days away from going up to 18 miles per day. So then we'll go up to 18, 20, 21, and then we'll get up to about 21 or 22 roughly, and then we'll head out to America. I mean, we'll head out and run America. But it's been a wild. And I'll just say I'm so grateful I started a mile, because if I would have started at 17, we would not be talking, and I would have been done after day 2. So that was a good choice.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask next. Is everyone that's listening is probably thinking, what does that look like? How does that fit into your daily life? What is recovery, nutrition? How are you doing this and staying healthy to be able to toe the line when this starts?
That's a great question. I'll say it this way. Will you stay healthy for 4 years? Probably not. If you're running or not, you won't. Something's going to go wrong. If you want to know all the gory details, I've had shin splints that I almost had for a full year in our 3rd year while we ran. We've had hernia. We fell on ice my first year carrying my little girl and blew out my shoulder, and should have had shoulder surgery. There's just things you have to realize, like you're going to have to give up. Like there's sacrifices always. How do I fit in my schedule? I do it. I'm going to be honest, like I am not like the smart runner. I'm not the, hey, take this gel and your 120, grams of carbohydrates every out. Like I'm not that person. Like I'm very resilient as far as I'm hard-headed. So, that's not always about like listening to that stuff. I just go get it done. I don't care what shoes. I don't care. And I think we talked about this earlier. I don't care if your feet are lubed, if you even know what lube is for your feet. As I've learned from new runners, they laugh at me because they're like, what is that? What are you even putting on your feet? So none of it matters. What matters is you get started. Because once you build that momentum, and it's like my wife asked me this. She said, hey, after we do the run around America, will you like stop running? Will you take some days off? And I said, I'll tell you this way, babe. I will stop running the day I don't want to feel good. Because every day running makes me feel good. It doesn't have to be 17 miles, but I said I'm still going to go out and get a mile in at least. And I will encourage just everybody, if they start a mile a day, it'll be painful. You'll be tired. Your legs will be tired. But after about a week, you'll go like, man, this is the thing. This is the thing I've been missing. It's a game changer, and it is. And so to me, I love to tell you I have some great strategic plan. I run where I can. So 17 miles a day, sometimes I run all 17 miles all at once. Some days like yesterday, I had to run, I think like 4 miles in the morning or 4 like in the afternoon. And then I had to run the rest late at night after the kids and the wife are in bed. And really, again, it's just about like, to me, my thing is always like, how do we win, right? Finding ways to win. You can either find ways to lose and go like, oh, I can't run all 17 at once. I'm not going to do it then today. And that's for me, that's giving up. That's a way to lose. So I look for ways to win, and it's simple. Like whatever I have, find a way to get after it. Like my little boy, for the hard things, like my little boy, my wife was pregnant with my little boy. She was in labor for over 24 hours, and she was trying to do a home birth. We end up in the hospital and in a C-section, and he ends up in the NICU, and I hate to say this because makes me sound bad, but it's real. Like I'm, we're in the hospital, we're walking back, everything's kind of like settled. It's getting later in the day, and I'm like crying to myself and to a few people, and I'm just like, hey, this is the day like the streak ends. And of course, amazing people around me are like, I'll stay here and help your wife, or I'll stay here and help with the kid. And luckily, we didn't have to do that. But at 11:59, I walked out of the sliding doors of the hospital, opened up, and 59 p.m. I started step one and ended with 30 miles because that's how far I was running at that time. But we did it, and it wasn't pretty. It didn't look good. It doesn't look like your highlight reels that you see on Instagram. And to be honest, like that's the darkness. That's where the real work is, and I love it. And there's certainly more mental challenges or more thought process of like this sucks, then I'd love to say that there is, but there is. But yet there's just so much goodness that comes from it. It always ends and it always outweighs the negative side of it.
Yeah, I love that. I can relate to. I know it's scary moments when a kid goes to the NICU. Our firstborn was in the NICU for 4 or 5 days, and even to go a step deeper, my wife is a labor delivery nurse and NICU nurse here at the local hospital. She's been doing that for like 17 years. Sometimes she brings that baggage home with her, and I have to listen and kind of hear what's happening at the hospital and the NICU. It's not the best place to be. In the family birthplace at all. So we totally understand that. So I'm glad to hear that your son's doing better, and obviously he's home and active and all those things.
Was it your son as well, Brian?
My oldest daughter, yeah.
Daughter,
I have two
okay.
girls, yeah.
Okay, cool. I just know, like from what we were told anyways, when you're in the NICU, boys have issues with their lungs, so more of them end up in the NICU. So I just didn't know if it was a boy, but man, I will say though, if you ever end up in the NICU, those people are angels. So many of them treated us well and were so blessing and so helpful and just empathetic, Hey, thank you. I appreciate that, Brian.
Yeah, and Chris, thanks for sharing the story about still getting out for that run and that it's not glamorous, because it's not. Like when we have to choose how we spend our time, and we have to still make those sacrifices. And I think that just is the prime example. We hear it all the time. Like you got to put on your mask before you can put on the mask of someone else. And
Yeah.
I think starting your son's life off that way of taking just 30 minutes, maybe it sounds like, to just take a little time for yourself and do what's important to you, of course, while knowing your family was taken care of and in good hands. But that's an okay thing, and I think it's something that a lot of parents today, I think my generation, younger, I don't know how old you are, but I think we've seen a lot of, we talk about this every once in a while, a lot of parents these days that think about like, I can't go do these things because Johnny has practice and Susie has ballet, and I just don't have time to take care of me or work on my goals. But if you think outside the box, if you do the unpretty things, it is all possible. And that's why I asked the question about how do you fit in this amount of miles in a day, because for so many parents or people who have other obligations in this world, not just parents, that is so overwhelming. Like that's such a big chunk to think there's no way I can take 3 or 4 hours every day to go walk or run. But if you chunk it up, if you find the opportunities, if you're willing to be a little sweaty sometimes, not be dressed up sometimes, like there have been times, and I'm sure I've shared this to you before, Brian, but back when I used to do school pickup, I don't anymore, for my kids, I would sit in the pickup line, and it sits and it doesn't move for at least 20, 30 minutes. Like if you want to get in front of the pickup line, it's the whole thing. But parents are just sitting in there. So I would park my car, because everyone is parked until the bell rings, at 3:20. Well, until 3:20, no cars are moving. So why not sit your car, park it, and then just get out and run up and down the road? And I would get the strangest looks from people like, what is she doing? She's just running. And I would do like squats and push-ups and then run. But it's that same thing. Like you can choose to take the opportunity and like leave motivation at the door because that's gone. But it's that dedication of, I said, I'm going to do this thing. I want to do this thing, but how do you fit it in? And you have to be able to remove the guilt from taking that you time, remove the embarrassment from looking silly, on however you fit that into your day.
Man, Mandy, that was such a great statement. It's about looking stupid, unique, weird, going against the grain. But and I'll say this, like in my identity, I love that. Like I love being the unique one. We didn't run across America because we wanted to be unique, right? We are doing it our own way because we want to be unique. Yet I will say, I think to me, you do have to find a little bit of that like weird or craziness in you. This is not a normal thing. Like ultra is not a normal thing. Most people get up on a Saturday and not say like, hey, let me see if I can run to almost my death and go finish a 100-miler, That's not everybody's goal. And that's the reason it makes it fun. It makes it unique. But you're right. Like it's just about slivers of time. This is not about, hey, every day I wake up. I'm not the disciplined person that says like I'm gonna get up at 6 a.m. and I go running every day at 6 a.m. and I'm done by 9 a.m. and then I come home and I make my family breakfast. I'm just not that person. I get it in where I get it in. And I think if we have, as your story's the best. I don't even need to say anything. You said the best story with the parking the car. I love that. That's way better than any of my stories.
No,
And
I
like,
think
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and I think we all have those things. Like Brian's done the same thing, but we need to talk about that more because I think when we say, "Oh, I just run 10 miles every day," like people think it's this picture perfect. Man, how do they have it all together? Because we don't actually. Like we're dealing with the same 24 hours that everyone else is dealing with. We're dealing with the same demands in life everyone else is.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And I think again, I think we do it to other people on social media. When you see them, you see their highlights, and you're like, I wish I had that life. Step into my shoes. You know what I'm saying? Come run with me. Come run with me for a week. And it's not even about the running. It's just about everything that comes with the running.
Mm-hmm.
Raising kids, running a business, financially making it, right? Like providing not just financially, but emotionally, mentally, physically for your family. Like you have to be there. But the question is, are you there for yourself? Because if we don't even show up for ourselves, we're never going to show up. Like, great, you give your kids everything, you don't, because you're not giving you. You're not giving you fully you, so you don't give your kids, right? There's a video that I love, and it's quoting like men where they go like, I die for my family. And the next question is, yeah, but will you ever fully live? And that hits me like a ton of bricks. And I look back and I remember when my little girl was being born, and I was only running like a couple miles. But my mother-in-law was here, and I'm thinking, as a mother-in-law, you go like, Chris, that's a really stupid goal. Your wife's in the hospital. She just had a kid. You should be here with her. But she wasn't. She was amazingly supportive. She was like, hey, what do you need to do to get your miles in a day? When I, when after my little boy was born, my wife was in the hospital because of C-section. So was my little boy. So I would, well, there was a bed in her room I could sleep in. So I would go there at night, and, at 11 o'clock, I'm walking out and I'm like, I'm gonna go get some miles into. The nurses are like, what does that even mean? And so they, and it really is. It's just finding ways to show up for yourself. Because like we know statistically, if you have a gym partner, you're more likely to show up, which means at 39% of people will go to the gym consistently if they go just by themselves. 77% will go if they go with like another person, a partner. And most of us are the 39%er that we don't show up for ourselves. And to be honest, one of the greatest gifts I've gotten from running for this many days consecutively is that I've proven to myself that I show up. I haven't always been that person. I was a quitter. I quit a lot of things, especially when I was younger. But this has reinforced that, man, I'm going to do everything in my physical possibility to show up every day. And there is true value to never even running a race. Don't ever run an ultra, but write something on your page today that you are dedicated, determined, and driven by, and then go out and perform it even if it's 5 minutes a day, even if it's the partner, even if it's like, man, I got to go to this meeting, but I show up 5 minutes early, or I stay 5 minutes after the meeting and I get a jog power walk in. Do it, because you show up for yourself and you show yourself who you really are, which then shows your kids who you really are and who they can really be.
Yeah, I think there's just so much in the value of like squeezing all we can out of the day. We have at least I do, and I'm pretty sure Mandy does too. But I have all the streaming subscriptions. It's easy just to click on the TV and turn on a series and binge watch it, which I will do occasionally. Don't get me wrong. But where I'm going with it is like, we always think we don't have this time for ourselves. I can't get on the floor and stretch 30 minutes. I can't find the time. I'm a coach. I coach ultra runners, and I hear it like, I can't find 20 minutes in my day to stretch. And I'm like, come on, really? I'm pretty sure you can. I know I can. And so it's about like finding that time, like squeezing the lemon out of the day and finding that space in there. I'll stream the show on the TV, but I'm also on the floor stretching so I feel like I'm at least being productive in my time of not being productive, if that makes any sense.
And I think that we all need relaxed time. We all need time with the family. We all need time on the ground rolling. I think you're right, though. I think that is the biggest challenge, is that before they even try it, they tell you they can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean this nicely. Like, I don't really give a lot of weight to that kind of statement.
Mm-hmm.
I just go like, cool, you're full of crap. We'll figure out a way around this. You're lying to yourself, and now you're lying to me because you don't even realize it because you're lying to yourself. But like, great. I always tell people, if you don't have 20 minutes, then start with 5. Put a 5-minute timer on, because I guarantee if you get started, you'll realize you have 20 minutes. The trouble is you're having trouble getting started, and now you're building up this resistance and this wall to it. So let's break this down. I don't care. Then go stretch for a minute. Stretch your calves. Do one calf stretch, because you know that's going to lead to a quad stretch, and then a ham stretch, and then a glute stretch, and then you're going to be 20 minutes into your movie, and you're going to be sitting next to your kids, and your kids are going to be watching you do your 20 minutes of stretching, and you fall through, and then you're going to go like, cool, we got to watch a movie and I got stretching in and I can do all of it. Because you're right, like it's about looking at time and going, and every time, like, have a conversation with yourself in your head, right? Like, I can't do this. Okay, so how do I do this? Okay, I don't have time for that. Okay, so what do I have time for? Right? Like, again, if you're parked by you don't want to run and be the weirdo, fine, do some stretches in your car, right? Do something. Train your brain. Think about the race. My first marathon, when I did it with no training, all I did was visualize the run and how painful it's going to be. Just so my body was like, ooh, pain, okay, keep going. Ooh, pain, keep going. Ooh, pain, keep going. Because that's the only thing I figured the marathon would be that I could figure out was it's going to be painful. So even if you visualize your runs, like go look at visualization if you need proof of how well that works. Every athlete, every Olympic athlete that you've ever seen perform and have gold medals, if they're being honest, would tell you about their visualization practice. Do that then. At least you get some practice in.
Chris, you got this big event next year, 2027. Sounds like you're starting in January. I'm already thinking of like the logistics in my head, and I kind of figured maybe you're going south or along the south first because of the temperatures up in the north in the early beginning of the year. Hopefully, you hit those warmer temperatures across the top or something along those lines. I'm sure there's a ton of planning in it. What does this year look like to get there? Is it just the training? Is it keeping the family consistently at home, or do you have other things going on this summer in preparation for next year?
Great question. We have so much going on. Me and my wife even turned to each other a few days after the year and said, crap, we really got to get going, you know? I mean, there's sponsorship. There's, obviously podcasts for, getting out there and promoting it. There are clearly all the training days. There's running the business and growing the business so we can get it to a point where we can still have the business run while I'm minimizing my time in it while we're running, There is how do we, the RV buying and the creating the team that's going to go with us. So there is a ton to do, a ton to do. And those are just, that's a surface level. That's not even all the 10 steps underneath the surface level, as you guys know. And, really it's just about chipping away at it. No, it's the 1 mile. It's the 1 mile march. And have you guys ever heard the story of the 20-mile march?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. I'm going to share it with you guys real quick, and I'll make it a quick version. So there were two teams, and they're headed to Antarctica because nobody's ever got to South Pole at this point. And so they're, both ships are going at the same time. They're both very well funded, and so they get down. But Team A, Group A, is like, hey, we're going to go all the miles we can when it's sunny, and when it's like snowy and blizzard, it's the Antarctica, we're going to hunker down. And the other team B is like, what we're going to do is 20 miles. If it's sunny, 20 miles. If blizzard and we can't even see a foot in front of us, 20 miles. So we'll never do more than 20? Nope, 20 miles. Team B makes it to the South Pole, can't find Team A, so they have some supplies that they have extra just in case they're behind so they can make it back. Long story short, Team A never comes back. They die. They're the milers and hunker down. So when we can just take the mile a day, the 20 miles a day, there is power in no matter how it looks, but showing up. So planning the run is, I think, no different than the mile a day. It's just finding things to chip away. And really what we're working on right now is forming a team, because we'll need more support than just my wife. Even though that'll be great and helpful, we'll need some other people to support us along the way. So
if you're coached by me, you've heard that consistency matters. I think it's like in every email I put out, but consistency matters, right? And I mean, that's exactly the 20-mile scenario that you just referenced.
Yep. No matter how you feel, doesn't matter how you feel, just do it.
Chris, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for sharing with us this morning. Gosh, where can our followers find you at and tag along on this awesome, amazing journey that you're going to go on?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, first of all, guys. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. You can find me at chrisrunsamerica.com. You can go there. We have a weekly newsletter that comes out and stuff if you want to follow along that way until we have all the video content, all the YouTube content. Then we'll share all the other places we're at. Or you can go to Instagram and go to Chris Runs America, and you can find me there as well.
Well, we'll be sure to keep tabs on you. Again, we appreciate your time this morning, and thanks so much for the great conversation.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Mandy. Bye bye.